Hi, welcome to Culture Shop. This is my little assistant behind me. It's day 12, I think, of Bring Your Child to Work Day. So I think we're all going through this. Bored children sitting at home. In fact, I'm so bored sitting at home, not even being a child, I'm so bored sitting at home that I've eventually just moved an armchair out into the garden, and this has now become my garden, my office for the next couple of days, I suppose. I'll probably have to move it in. But I have a sense that. Babe, can I tell you something? You can help me out with Culture Shop, but you can't do that because people are trying to. I'm hoping to get a message to people here. So smile, say hello, maybe go off and play or something like that. Okay.
Hello.
That's it. Love you. Anyway, I've moved the chair out into the garden because it's better than sitting inside. And actually, funnily enough, I'm starting to find there are all sorts of improvements to working this way, which I hadn't actually anticipated. And this is all rather lovely. Of course, I'm in Johannesburg in South Africa, so the weather's great right now, so I'm able to do this. Perhaps it's not the same for everybody. Anyway, you didn't tune in to hear me talk about the weather or to meet my daughter. What you perhaps tuned in to hear me talk about, however, is how, as I said in the headline, there's no way to hide if you're not people first anymore. And here's the thing, because I've been reading tons of stories about people, organizations that are going one way or the other through this lockdown period. So now people have left the offices and they're no longer right under the noses of their bosses. And now there is a real test of trust in the air. The question is, do you trust your employees, your people, to do the job, to get on with it, to do really good work, or are you not able to do that? Is it just not within your DNA? There was a story about one of the major newspapers in the United States, and I don't want to say which one it was because I'll get it wrong, and I don't know how litigious they are. Anyway, I don't want to malign anybody. But they were talking about they sent out this list of things to their people, things that they needed them to do. And one of the things was, for example, set your webcam to take a photograph of you every 5 minutes so that we can see where you are, essentially. If you're going to be on a call, make sure the video's on so we can see what you're wearing. I mean, it's actually quite remarkable that they put that in a set of instructions, written instructions to their people, saying to them, you know, we're not going to get any comfort from your assurances that you're working. We need to be able to check up on you. I mean, what a terrible organization to work for. I mean, my God, it's so awful. But what it says very simply is this is not an organization that is people first. And there's no way for them to hide from that. If this is what they think, if this is how they feel they need to control people, then there's obviously major trust issues there. There's obviously major problems that the leadership team or the immediate manager who sent that particular thing out, if it wasn't necessarily organization-wide, there are major challenges that they have with managing people. They don't believe their people work. They don't trust their people to do work without supervision. They are not a people-first organization. But there are so many others that are just starting to get this right. And I know this because I'm having conversations with people who are in the same boat as me. You know, there are children hanging around. There's all sorts of disruption. And so what we're actually doing is we're getting around to doing maybe 3 or 4 hours of decent work every single day. That's pretty much it. And I think what we're starting to realize, perhaps guiltily, is that that's probably as much work as you ever did in any given day. The rest of your time was taken up with meetings that you could have done with not being in, or catch-up sessions, or just socializing around the water cooler or whatever. But what we're doing is we're trying now to maximize our work, get as much time as much work into the time available. And turns out there's only 3 or 4 hours available to us. And what I'm finding is there are a huge number of organizations, people that I know that I'm interacting with, who work for companies who just accept that because they've understood the new version of normal is going to be what it is. It's not the same as it used to be. We can't just expect people to put in 8 hours and hope that they're being productive with them because it doesn't work that way. These are people first organizations, and honest to God, it's black and white. It's night and day. There is a sharp division between those that are and those that aren't. Those that are ones that accept that people can be trusted to get on with their jobs, but they may not be working exactly when we want them to or how we want them to. And those that aren't are organizations that are expecting a solid 8 hours worth of work, regardless of the fact that everything's kind of changed and everything's disrupted. It's an interesting thing, this. You can't hide. You can't pretend you're one. You can't claim that you're one when you're so actively the other. And so the question I have, I guess, is at the end of all of this, when the job market starts to pick up again and people start to actually feel that they've got some choices. Right now, we'll probably all just knuckle under and continue to do what we're told to do because a job is better than no job at all. But when that all starts to change, and hopefully that won't be a huge length of time into the future, what happens to organizations that have proved to be so poor at leading people? What happens to organizations that have proved to be so poor at trusting people? I think there might actually turn out to be something quite interesting in the air. I think those organizations that have done a really good job this time around through this crisis have set themselves up for great success later in the future, because they've proved that they're capable of leading, and they've proved that their leaders are capable of truly leading. And those organizations that haven't, well, they're going to go back to the same old stress and command and control that apparently they're used to. And I don't know how well that's going to work in the future. It's food for thought for me. I hope it's food for thought for you anyway. It's been food for thought for me all week. And I wish you a very good week. If you're under lockdown, stay safe. If you're not, stay at home anyway. And hopefully we'll see ourselves out the other side of this in a week or two's time. Have a great week.